Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I've got a best of one. It is between WhiteRa, the red Protoss player in the top right position, who is up against Team prOpBobson, who is of course the blue Terran in the lower left. Now obviously anyone who doesn't know Team prOpBobson, they're pretty awesome. Like they're cool guys. I really like all of them, so really looking forward to seeing how Bobson does against WhiteRa, who of course everybody knows and loves. He is of course the granddaddy of StarCraft 2, but it's all good. Everyone loves WhiteRa. Now, the map in Tomb Valley, PvT, it's going to be pretty interesting nonetheless. Bobson has lots of different options available to him, most likely expecting to see something like a 1-Rax command center. It's quite a common opening, unless of course he's going for a 1-1-1 build or some kind of 1-base timing push. WhiteRa, again, lots of options available to him as well. Don't think there's too many cheesy things that you could go, like a 3-gate Blinkstalk with an Observer isn't going to be too good on this map, just because there's no easy cliff to jump in on. A 4-gate, yeah, not really WhiteRa's style in my opinion, but we'll wait and see what the two of them are going to do. They are in cross spawns. It's not forced cross spawns though, that's one of the important things to know. Bobson is walling off, so that's all good. Meanwhile, obviously you've got the gateway coming down. Both these players really going to be macroing it up, so let me just say what is the number one most important thing you can do for me today is of course like this video. For those of you who don't know, videos that get more likes, more comments, etc. are actually ranked higher in the YouTube rankings, which means more people can see my casts, and I do this so people can see them and enjoy great StarCraft games, and therefore it'd be absolutely awesome if you could help me achieve that goal. Also subscribe and leave a cool comment just because I like talking to you. It's brilliant, it makes me feel like I've got friends. I do actually have friends. It's not just you guys, but if you comment, that would be cool. Anyway, gas coming down for WhiteRa, to be expected. We see a Cybercore started any second. That's all good. Everything's fine. The probe already there. Boom, Cybercore. Everything going straight to plan. Command center morphing into an orbital command because that's just what you do. I saw a little click there, the SCV being pulled, 300 minerals, command center coming down, so 1-Rax command center. You heard it from me first, that's all going down. WhiteRa scouting it all out though, being like, hey, I know what you're doing, the Marine doesn't get the kill, so of course going to come in and see, hey, there's no gas, but WhiteRa could have guessed that by the fact that the command center's on its way down, so a bit of a useless scout, but I mean, it still achieves something. WhiteRa didn't actually see that, so that's quite important. I thought he did spot it, so nonetheless that means that perhaps that scout wasn't quite as bad, just leaves open the option that it could be a 1-Rax command center, which WhiteRa would assume. It does also leave open the option that potentially there's a barracks somewhere hidden on the map. It's really the only two things you generally see without any gas having been taken. The bunker on its way down, because that's what you should always do in this build. You go Rax, command center, bunker, just so you're safe from kind of the Zealot Stalker pressure early on. Meanwhile, up at WhiteRa's base, he's still just got the 1 gate, he's got 300 minerals. I'm guessing we're going to see a Nexus chuck down fairly soon. He's fairly sure that his opponent went for the 1-Rax command center as well, so that's all good. The double barracks following up from the 1-Rax command center opening, which is pretty normal. We should see the double gas following on from that, and really both these players looking like they're wanting to macro up a bit, and that's nice. Neither player going for anything too cheesy. I believe it's just a ladder game, so I say just a ladder game. Ladder's like really cool. I love people who play ladder games. What do you think? This is actually a serious question, and something you can help me massively by commenting on is, do you prefer me casting like tournament best of 3s, best of 5s, etc., or do you like the odd ladder game? At the moment I try and mix them up quite a bit, so I do a good variety of just 1 games and different tournaments and stuff, so that if you've only got a couple of minutes or say like 10-15 minutes, you can watch a ladder game. If you've got more time, you want to see a series, you can watch that. Let me know what you think. Which do you prefer? It will genuinely help me massively in catering to my audience, which of course is you guys. So if you don't tell me, who is? It's that simple. Anyway, looking here, Tech Lab on its way down. That's going to probably start stim fairly early on. We've got the double refinery. We've got the supply depot. I don't know why I pointed out a supply depot being built. That's literally the point where you know as a caster you've got to the early mid-game where both players have gone for an economical build and you know nothing is going to happen for literally ages. So you're just like, they're building a supply depot, guys! Oh my god, isn't that awesome? But it's not really, they're just getting supply blocked and doing a simple mechanic of the game. But what is important is Bobson getting this SCV in and being like, hey, you're building a gateway, 2 of them, and you've got a robotics facility. I know what you're doing, which is really pretty fine. The Observer coming down. Another sentry warping in, that's going to come and try and deal with this SCV. But it's a bit late to deal with that when it's seen everything. It's like in movies, you know, like if someone comes out of the shower and they're not wearing a towel or anything, and someone spots them and they like scream and then cover themselves up. It's a bit like, well, they've already seen everything. Like, covering yourself now is a bit of wasted effort. But oh well, I think we'd all do that in that situation, unless you just like it or you like the person. You never know. Maybe do the naked man from How I Met Your Mother, and if anyone gets that reference, you're awesome. But no, coming back to the game, I'm going really off on a tangent right now. But back to this game. We've got the Observer out, we've got some Marines staying in the middle, we've got Stim half done, the +1 infantry weapons done, we've got a third gas on its way down, about to finish up, we've got the robotics bay, so a quick tech up into Colossi, we've got these double forges coming down, so double upgrades will be out for WhiteRa, which means he will take the upgrade advantage, but to be honest, as this, where is it, as the +1 nears the end, I expect to see Bobson grab the second engineering bay and start 2-1 pretty soon. Meanwhile, Starport coming down, reactor there. That means medevacs, medevacs, medevacs. We've got good Marauder production coming out, actually. We've also got nothing else done from this. I'm surprised Combat Shield wasn't started, to be honest. But maybe just not going for the timing push. The center of the map held really, really solidly. All full gas up for WhiteRa. Of course, he needs all of that in order to produce the Colossus. His third base ready to go down whenever he feels like it, because he's taken out the rocks already. That was a mighty misclick, bringing up the menu there. Meanwhile, missile turret from Bobson, because ultimately it could be DTs. You can be fairly sure it's not DTs though, because you saw the robotics facility. Generally, if you're going to DT rush someone, you just go straight to DTs. So, but guess it's better to be safe than sorry ultimately, isn't it? The bunker was salvaged because, hey, he's got enough stuff there. The move out to the center of the map also means he's fairly safe, so that's all good. Meanwhile, we do have the 1-1 upgrades coming out. The extended thermal lance for WhiteRa's first Colossus just hitting the field now, and of course that is good news because you need AoE damage in order to deal with the infantry the Terran player can throw at you. So this is all good. Where are the chrono boosts being spent actually? Oh, chrono boosts. There's some banked up there. Where are you spending your chrono boosts, WhiteRa? That is what I want to know. Where are they going? They're not going on there, they're not going on there, and they're not going on your upgrades. So, I'm a bit confused. Maybe I'm just missing something. Anyway, the rock's getting taken down, so Bobson, again, getting in a position where he can take his third base if he wants to. WhiteRa position this Zealot here quite nicely. Getting a nice little bit of warp pins, the medevac's hitting. There's the chrono boost coming down on the upgrade, so that's all good where I expected to see them. Looking at this, the medevacs are moving across the map. Castle Shell is now finished, +1 infantry armor coming down for Bobson as well, so he is just getting up everything he needs. Not outside the second engineering bay, which means he is going to get into quite a deficit of the upgrades. 1-1 is now finished up for WhiteRa, which means this push is going to be up against a 1-1 upgraded Protoss army with 2 Colossus on the field, which is really going to be pretty tough to deal with because that does an awful lot of damage. Combat Shield's done, the concussive shell's done though, so there's a possibility to try and run up and snipe it. The Marine going first though, just saying, do I want to take this? And if I was Bobson in this position, I'd be like, no. I don't. Starting the Viking production as soon as he saw that Colossus. The Observer there for WhiteRa as well. He's like, I know exactly what you're doing. The factory just probably come and land at the third base, just being like, you're not taking that anytime soon. Meanwhile, more gateways being added on. That is all good. We've got charge coming down for the Zealots. That will obviously allow the Zealots to engage this infantry way, way better. The third base up for Bobson as well. And in terms of their supply and work count, it's pretty even. There's, what, 5 difference, but that's more than accounted for by the additional mules. A scan going down to pick off that Observer there, so that's quite nice. Meanwhile, the factory is going to die a horrible, horrible death, and the downside to losing that factory is he now can't actually build additional starports in order to get out additional Vikings to deal with the Colossus threat. Now, interestingly as well, WhiteRa hasn't started transitioning yet into High Templar. Actually getting out his 4th Colossus, which usually you see a lot of Protoss players get up to 3 and then transition into 8 High Templar, and the reason for that is they hope the Terran is going to overcommit to Vikings, and really if they don't have many Colossi then that's a lot of wasted supply. But good force fields there, picking off a couple of units, and that was really the first units actually have ever been taken out. These 2 Zealots apparently didn't get the memo that you've done enough damage. We do have a big triple drop coming down into the main though, and this is doing huge amounts of damage. Bobson really doing quite a lot here, picking off the forge, which is nice. Also about to depower the Twilight Hounds potentially, but going straight for the Nexus instead. I think that's a good choice because he's going to knock WhiteRa down to what is just 1 mining base for a while, picks everything else up and tries to get out of it. He's going to lose 1 medevac. The second medevac should be able to get away, and well, I'd say all in all, even though Bobson did lose a medevac full of units, he did quite good damage. He knocked off out both forges, so he cut WhiteRa's upgrades for a long period of time. It means he kept them at 1-1, keeping the upgrades equal, and he sniped off the base, which obviously it's not the best base to snipe because, hey, ultimately it does mean that that was nearly mined out anyway, and he's got his third base up. But still, it's good news. It means it's cut WhiteRa's production by a third, which is income rather by a third. So that is all fine. I'd be quite happy if I was Bobson right now. He's also got a supply lead, especially against a player like WhiteRa, who's such a veteran. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable right now. He's getting up his second starport as well, so he can start producing additional Vikings. Only just getting the armor. He does have the double engineering bay, but obviously can't start 2-2 without those additional, without the armory. Now, High Templar is now on its way for WhiteRa. That's obviously the transition to Storm, which does great burst damage, and obviously with the 4 Colossi out, the 5th on the way. You don't really want to overcommit to those, because then Mass Viking can really ruin your afternoon or evening or morning, depending on your time zone. And looking here, more barracks coming down. This is all good. This is actually my biggest problem. I've been playing random on Heart of the Swarm, and remembering to keep building barracks is like my biggest flaw playing Terran. I don't know why. Like, playing as Protoss, I always remember to like build more gateways and stuff like that. Playing as Zerg, obviously I remember to expand because I main as Zerg. But with Terran, I'll keep building like starports and factories or whatever. But barracks, I just like, after I've taken like my second base and I'm up to like 5 barracks, I just seem to forget to build any more. Or if I do build more, I forget to build add-ons. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know if you ever get that. Like, you know, you'll do everything else in the game perfectly fine and like to a really good level. And then you're just like, why didn't I do that? Like, you're just like, that was an idiot move. Like, of course I should build more. But alas, that is my inadequacy at playing Terran. You can't be good at all 3 races unless, of course, you're Orc from Dignitas. And then you can be good at all 3 races. Which, if you didn't know that, check out Dignitas Week. I did that a little while ago. It's in a playlist on my channel called Dignitas Week. And it's got loads of games from all of the Dignitas players. And Orc was the final day. And he can play all 3 races at GM level. But anyway, push coming across the map right now. These Stalkers blinking back, just being like, we don't want to engage Stim Marine Marauder. That is a bad move. The Viking count, what we have? We are at 10 Vikings against 6 Colossi. That is pretty good. We've got, of course, the Mobius Reactor coming down. We've got 2-2 upgrades coming down for both players. 3 more gateways being added on for WhiteRa. Ghost coming out as well as 3 more Vikings. And, well, that's a bit bad positioning there. Those Stalkers do lose quite a few, but it did bait forward the infantry, allowing those Colossi to do just so much damage. The Zealots are coming down as well. The 4th base on its way out for Bobson. So he's trying to stay a base up, and he's got a better army supply. The trouble is he just needs to engage this really effectively, because ultimately with 6 Colossi out, he's got to deal with them very quickly indeed, because otherwise he's just going to take so much damage. But WhiteRa pulling back for the time being, clearly not feeling confident in dealing with all of that. Meanwhile, these SCVs, I'm not quite sure where they were off to. Those SCVs were just like, hey, we want to come play, we want to come be like the army, but it's not going to work. Meanwhile, this drop coming down is doing great amounts of damage. We'll get cleaned up before it manages to take out the Nexus, but 17 workers have been killed, so that is good news. And it does actually put Bobson ahead by, well, 12 workers, plus the 4 mules he's potentially going to have now. That's pretty, 3 mules because he's getting a planetary fortress at his 4th. That is good news for him. He's like going to have a good income advantage, as we can see here. That is really quite solid, and Bobson's play all the way through this has been really nice. These SCVs just going to their death because, hey, let's face it, when you've got mules, you don't need SCVs. You just got mules. You got a lot of orbital commands, you got lots of mules, you're all happy. Free up the supply. These SCVs apparently also going to get killed on a Zealot as well. Which, as sacrificing workers goes, nearly killing a Zealot is a pretty effective and cost-effective way of suiciding units. Like, it's good if you can kill anything with units you're just happy to throw away. But here we go, we've got some Zealots moving forward, seeing the army here. But WhiteRa coming from the side, the scan goes off though. Where was that scan? Sees all the army, and the good news here is this ground over here means that the Vikings can get over there and try and snipe off those Colossi as best they can. The Archons, of course, the threat that if the Vikings clump up, they could potentially take a lot of damage, but WhiteRa being forced back yet again. Both players are at 2-2, so the upgrades are bang on equal. WhiteRa's will get 3-3 out sooner if he is chrono boosting on them. That's the important thing, but he is maxed out on energy on 2 of his Nexi, so that isn't too good for him right there. Needs to be spending those chrono boosts. Meanwhile, Scan's going off, taking a good position for the army. And this is really the ideal area for Bobson to engage in, because he can put his Vikings over this cliff area, and as a result, he can use those to snipe off the Colossi without the risk of the Archons or the Stalkers sniping them off, which is really important indeed. The Medevac, probably not intended to get suicided there, but is not going to get away. That's a shame. But Bobson moving forward, he's got a huge Viking count now, up to 16 Vikings still with 6 Colossi. Should pretty much one-shot them. And moving forward, the Archons are going to be the threat though, because look at how clumped all of those Vikings are. The Colossi taking large amounts of damage. WhiteRa losing nearly all of those Colossi, literally just falling instantly. That is pretty bold. All of the Colossi are now dead, and still a lot of infantry remains. for Bobson. He is in an amazing spot. WhiteRa down to under 100 supply, and to be honest, he is in massive problems now. As you can see, good resupply coming in, 9 Marines at a time. We've got the 3-3 upgrades about to kick in. That push, absolutely brilliant. This 4th base in a lot of problems right now, and I don't think WhiteRa is going to be able to hold it. He is nearly 50, now over 50 supply behind. The Viking count is still there, not in huge numbers. He did lose quite a few, which is good because it actually frees up some supply. No more Colossi are in production. We've got 2 more robotics facilities on the way, just trying to pump this out in time. But WhiteRa losing his 4th base, and of course with the 4th base up already for Bobson, WhiteRa could be in huge problems. This little infantry, this little group of gateway units could be in problems as well, because reinforcing units coming from behind, Bobson moving in from the front as well. He's got units pretty much everywhere trying to get the surround. A lot of these units will get cleaned up, but of course it delays the run back, allows Bobson to clear out more units, and Bobson nearly yet again up to max. He's pushing across the map, he smells blood, and to be honest, I can't blame him pushing across now, because WhiteRa's AoE damage is non-existent at this stage pretty much, and as a result, Stim Marine Marauders wreck gateway units, so just go for it with the medevac support though as well. To be honest, I'm expecting to see GG any second. WhiteRa at half the supply, a great EMP goes down on those High Templar, and WhiteRa GG's out. And in which case, Bobson deserves a massive congratulations, because that was absolutely solid play by him. I really enjoyed that, and yeah, I hope you did too. Remember guys, like the video, subscribe and leave a cool comment. I was Madals, this was an SC2 England cast, and yeah, I will catch you tomorrow for yet another new game. Bye for now.